Hello students, today we are going to discuss the sixth topic from our EVS textbook. The name of the topic is soil. In our previous class, that is in 3rd standard, we have already learned about soil, its formation and its types. So just let us revise what we have learned in our earlier class. So we did learn that soil is a very important, or we can say it is a very valuable natural resource. And why is it so necessary, or why is it so important? Because all the plants, they grow in the soil. So also soil is home to many animals. The animals like snakes, rabbits, rats, some insects like ants, then we have earthworms. These animals have their homes in the soil itself. Can you just remember what is the house of a rabbit called as? Yes, it is called as a burrow. Burrow is a big hole that is made in the deep soil by the rabbits to live in. So also the snakes and the ants, they live in the holes which are made in the soil. The ants, they build ant hills. Yes. So also earthworm. You might have heard that earthworm is called as the farmer's friend. The earthworm lives in the soil and it helps to increase the fertility of the soil. Because of the movements made by the earthworm, the soil is made upside down, which increases the fertility of the soil. Yes. So soil is a very important factor for the plants as well as for the animals. Also, soil is a very important factor for the cultivation of various crops. The food grains that we get, they are cultivated, they are grown in the soil itself. But do you know how this soil is formed? Yes, you have learned it earlier. Soil is formed by a process which is called as weathering. Yes, soil is formed by the process called as weathering. And what is this weathering? The huge rocks in the mountains, they are broken down. Yes, they are broken down into tiny pieces or smaller pieces because of the heat of the sun, because of the running water and the strong winds that blow. Because of all these factors, that is heat of the sun, the strong winds, the running water, the heavy rains, these huge rocks are broken down into small pieces. And these small pieces, they get mixed up with the remains of dead plants and animals, which is called as organic matter. The remains of dead plants and animals is called as organic matter. The tiny particles of the huge rocks or the fine particles of these huge rocks get mixed up with the organic matter, and this is how the soil is formed. And this entire process by which the soil is formed is called as weathering. This process does not get completed in few months, but it takes many years. A long span of time is required for the formation of the soil. So we can define soil as the uppermost layer of the earth that contains minerals, some amounts of air, water and organic matter. So how can we define soil? The uppermost layer of the earth that contains minerals, some amount of air, water and organic matter is called as soil. So this was about the formation of the soil, or about, we can say, importance of soil in human life. Now let us move to the next point of the lesson, that is types of soil. So students, there are 3 types of soil, that is sandy soil, clay soil and loamy soil. The soil found on the entire earth is not the same. The characteristics of the soil or the properties of the soil keep changing from one place to the other. So as I told you, there are three types of soil, and now we are going to discuss these three types in details. So first we will discuss about the sandy soil. So sandy soil, from the name itself we come to know that this soil contains a lot of sand, and the sand particles are big particles. It is not of very fine particles, but the particles are a little bigger. So this sandy soil is found in the deserts and the seashore. The areas near the seas, they have such type of sandy soil, and the desert areas, for example the Thar desert in India, the Sahara desert in Africa, these deserts have such type of soil, that is the sandy soil, and the color of this soil is yellow or light brown. So you might have observed, you might have come across sandy soil or the sand many a times. So have you ever observed the color of the soil, this sandy soil? Yes, it is yellow or light brown in color. Also, this soil, since the particles are bigger in size, they are not very closely packed, and so they cannot hold water. A lot of water cannot be held by this sandy soil. They can hold a large quantity of air in them, but water quantity, the whole water holding capacity of the sandy soil is very low. And the use of the sandy soil is for construction. The sandy soil or the sand is mixed up with the cement, and it is used for construction of houses, construction of buildings, and various other construction things. The next is clayey soil. So from the name we come to know that this soil contains a lot of clay, and this clayey soil is found near the ponds or the river beds. The areas which are near to the ponds, which are near to the rivers, they have the clayey soil. Also, this clayey soil, it can hold a lot of water. This clayey soil is having a very fine particles, and so the particles are closely packed with each other, and that is why it can hold a lot of water. Air quantity, air holding capacity of clay soil is very much lower, but water holding capacity of clay soil is very good. And this clayey soil, since it can hold a good quantity of water, it is used for making of pots, toys, or idols. Yes, this clayey soil is the best for making the potters. The potters are the people who make various objects from the soil. The potters, they make use of the clay soil for making various pots, then various types of toys, also various idols of God or idols of various objects can be made with the help of the clayey soil. The next is the loamy soil. So loamy soil contains both the clayey soil and the sandy soil. It means that loamy soil is a mixture of clayey soil and sandy soil, and that is why it is having the properties of both these soils, that is good holding capacity for water as well as good holding capacity of air. So this loamy soil, it contains humus, that is the organic matter. As I have told you, the remains of dead plants and animals, they are called as organic matter or humus, and the loamy soil is having a good portion of humus present in it, and that is why this loamy soil is the best for growing of various crops, growing of various plants. So loamy soil is very useful for the farmers. So we did see about the three types of soil, that is sandy soil, clay soil and loamy soil.